So tonight,
This call is now being recorded.
my name is for those people that I know, many people know me already, but my name is Babajide Oluwashola. So that's my name. So one taking UK study. So, but tonight, I want us. This is what we are going to look at. So this is the table of content. This is what we are going to. So the first one is the purpose of the seminar. Then why 50% students keep failing ICANN case study. Then November 2024 diet examiner report. So we look at what are the examiner report in 2024, November 2024. We also look at we also look at May 2025. So I understood that I have gave some students that particular assignment to work upon. So I will tell them some secret things that examiner is checking, so that when you want to write your exam, you will know what to look for. Then we are also going to look at the summary of commonest pitfall of candidate writing ICANN case study examination. So that is very, very common pitfall in every diet. Then when unexpected happen, you check what is going to happen. When unexpected, when unexpected happen, what is the reaction? The reaction of 50% students that pass case study exam. Then we also look at the summary of the failures, then way forward, follow who no go, then the value for money. So that's what we are going to check today. So I believe within some hour, depends whether we are going to have questions or not, we determine whether we are going to have a lengthy seminar. So now let's move on. The purpose of the seminar. One is to give answers to most asked questions of every student regarding to the mass failure in case study exam. To brief students about what the examiners expecting in their reports. To know the major pitfall of the students in the case study examination. To allow students to prepare extensively for the case study exam. Also to inform students about the new opportunity. So that's a bonus to that. Then now let's look at the most question asked from different students. Most question asked from different students. Question that every student asks is why 50% students keep failing ICANN case study. Now this question, actually what the slide is going to really provide the answer for it. And I can only summarize it that the major reason why most students fail ICANN case study is because they don't really follow the instruction. They don't really follow instruction. And they don't have a appropriate preparation for it, and also they overlook some little things that they supposed to have done. Because for case study exam, it might not look like SFM, it might not look like SBR and any other examination. But the uniqueness of case study is that examiner is expecting something special, and which is coming from the angle of strength and opportunity. So examiner know the problem in the case scenario given to you. They have the solution with it, and they are expecting every student to know to bring down that particular issue up, and you should be able to address it. So but the moment students are unable to do exactly what the examiner wants, such student will eventually fail. Now that will now lead me to November 2024. This November 2024 examiner report is a very unique case study. It's all about hospitality company. It's an hospitality company. Now this is the summary. Now let me read it through so that you get something. I will also explain something there. The case study is on Travel Hotel Limited, a company operating in the hospitality industry with hotels in Abuja and Lagos. The Presins case scenario include details about the Nigeria economy and hospitality industry, business environment and challenge facing the hospitality industry, Travel Hotel Limited, history, board management and competition, 3-year financial statement, hospitality business sustainability and innovation. Why the Unseen introduces Travel Hotel Limited business segment, performance and Travel Hotel project fund. Now, from that angle, when you see what the presence is all about, they gave you a lot of information under the present. So at times, examiner could decide what to give to you. They can decide to give you a limited information for present. Then when it is unseen, they will now load you with the information. But these diets, they load them with much information in present, but with limited information from with unseen. Now, but majorly because we understood that examiner will always give us question from the unseen. So even though you might have seen the the red light at which the examiner will have been coming, do you understand? Because you giving me the industry, so meaning that when I want to write my report, if I want to write a report for precinct release to me, so I have seen business environment challenges facing the hospitality industry, Travel Limited, history, board and management, everything like that. So they have given me all this information. Now, they are now giving me the unseen. Travel Hotel Limited, business segment, performance analysis. So now I now say, what is the requirement? I don't know yet. Do you understand? Because I have not gone and read the requirements. But I can predict that what could examiner ask me is in different, because the first one is a consolidated statement they are giving to you, which means every student will have worked with the consolidated statement, calculating ratio, calculating a lot of things. But a case scenario like something change, bringing business segment into action. Now, which prompt the examiner to say that, let's see this particular. He said, for candidate to perform very well in this case study, candidate must prepare the following appendix. Now, note that the appendix is a little mark, which is 10 marks, as I usually tell us, as I usually told us about this particular aspect. Is 10 marks. But examiner is still saying you still calculate appendix, because appendix is expected of you to be calculated so that it can lead you to your report. That is important aspect to be calculated. Ratio analysis appraising the segment performance of Travel Hotel Limited business, which means examiner is saying that they have deviate from the consolidated given in present. They are now coming from that. This is what we are asking for based on the requirement, because I now discovered that the requirement is only mentioning this business segment, not a consolidated statement. Now, most of the students that fail this diet, they go ahead and prepare consolidated statements. They do ratio for consolidated statement, which makes them to fail. But examiner is saying segment performance. What is the segment performance? They have given them Abuja, Lagos. So, and also game center in Abuja. So, meaning that you are also still going to calculate that same ratio. But the difference will now be that you will calculate ratio for Abuja separate, you will calculate ratio for Lagos and game center. So you will now compare which one is contributing more to the consolidated revenue. That is what the examiner is asking. But this diet, most students go ahead and prepare consolidated ratio analysis, and they begin to analyze it. That is why they fail from their angle of appendix. Then another one, opportunity and threats in Travel Hotel Limited business environment in the view of development in sustainability and innovation of the industry. Now, this one, you can try to prepare what we call like SWOT analysis, coming from the angle of strengths, opportunity and threats. Now, opportunity, when you go and read, that is from the business environment and challenges facing the hospitality industry. That is where the answer of that particular appendix 2 is. So meaning that the answer is in the previous is in the preceding analysis. Then they are asking for the third appendix now, which is calculations to determine the viability of project fund. So they are asking, even though you might not be able to to calculate as extensive as expected from you by the examiner. Maybe you want to calculate the contribution you don't know way about. But I usually told my students how to go about it, because even though maybe you don't know how to calculate NPV, you don't know how to calculate what is it called, contribution, but there is a way you work around the figure given to you. You discuss about the non-financial aspect of it as well. That is from the angle of appendix now. Now, candidate performed was woeful, as only a very few of the candidates score up to 50%. Why? Because the common pitfall of that candidate are: one, candidate demonstrate inadequate understanding of an evaluation of segment performance using ratio analysis. You see, this is what I just explained. Because they didn't understand the segment performance of that, so they go ahead and do the consolidated. Then most candidates did not address requirement 2 of the case study. That is, I used to tell students that do not ignore requirement 2 because they are asking from the angle of SFM or PM. You don't ignore it. You can make attempts. It's like when they are saying do SBR and they now give you one compulsory question, and you say, based on our research, we discovered that most people that doesn't do first compulsory question, if you don't attempt it, for you to pass that particular subject is very hard for you. So you might not be able to go deeper in the working, but examiners say attempt. Do you understand? So meaning that you need to still attempt it. So you now create a appropriate heading for that requirement too. You create appropriate heading for it. You discuss about, if you don't even know how to discuss anything, discuss about on a neutral figure. Then you discuss about the non-financial aspect of the proposal of the project. Then you recommend for them, meaning that you have already attempted. Then another one that happened that diet is what? Lack of understanding of how to write formal report with appropriate heading and subheading to address issue required. Now, see, I used to say that you must know how to create appropriate heading and subheading, and you know that you are writing a formal report, so you know the type of language you are going to use. So inability to write a good executive summary, that is also the issue. So that is why I've been shouting, you need to practice all this, you need to do this, because all these things, most students will think they know how to do it until when they eventually find themselves in the exam, or they will now be cracking their brain. But when you have been practicing it, you will not have that issue. So inadequate to write a good report, because a good executive summary is will give you as at least 15 marks. If you cannot get 20 marks, because executive summary only will give you how much? 20 marks. So if you cannot get 20 marks, let's say examiner can give you 15 if you follow the proper structure. Now, this is May 2025. What is the difference between May 2025 and November 2024? See, this case study is all about the sanitary part industry. So the preceding case scenario include details about the Nigeria economies and all this, the Nigeria diapers and sanitary industry, DIFCON, like that. So I've told us the reason why they will have give you the industry history and the other things like that. The reason why they are giving you is to bring out some points. For them, products and marketing competition in the industry and management and board. Why the unseen introduced DIFCON Limited 2024 draft financial statement. Now, when they mention draft, understand that is not a what? Is not a audited account. So you raise professional skepticism from that angle. Then explanatory note to the draft financial statement. New product development, a letter from federal government protection and agency. Now, all this heading, all this exhibit released to you is exhibit that you can lay your hands on and discuss on neutral ground. but you need to also calculate some appendix. You don't totally ignore the appendix. The only angle that you can say, oh, I don't have time, I want to go and write report, is when you have your way, when you know what to write in your brain, you use your calculator and begin to do it. But at least you still need to calculate some things. Despite that last diet should have been best for many students to pass, but that same thing happened to them. Now this diet, that last diet, they told them the appendix to calculate. This is appendix 1, they're expecting from them ratio analysis. So this one, you will discover that this one is different from the one they asked in November 2024. In November 2024, they are asking for ratio analysis, but on segment base. Why this one is not on segment base? It's a purely what? A consolidated account. You just, so as they are giving to you, you just go and separate, just have your appropriate heading, profitability, liquidity, financial management, and operation efficiency. So that just have it as an appropriate heading. Then appendix 2, evaluation of the build and build up using the relevant cost to get your what to contribution. That is the 2 appendix they are expecting. So you will see that 2 appendix, that is what they are expecting. But the requirement of this that May 2025 is 4 requirements. But they are saying they need 2 appendix. So that is why I told some students, I think maybe last week or this week, I told them that you don't need to calculate appendix for what is it called? That requirement A and D. So you only need to calculate appendix for requirement B and C for that November 2025. Then candidates' performance was woeful, as only a very of them score up to 50%. That same word come. Now, the same thing that happened said most of the candidates did not respond appropriately to requirement 2. You will see that same thing happened in requirement 2. So almost every diet, students are usually ignored it. But you don't ignore it, you attempt it. Then lack of understanding on how to write a formal report with appropriate heading, subheading, and address the issues. So this same thing happened again. The inability to write a good executive summary. So this has been a common thing that the examiner has been clamoring for that. And how could you mitigate this? By you learning it. Then learning. Okay, you said candidates are advised to practice and perfect the act of report writing, learning to address specific requirements to each case study, and ensure they bring to bear the knowledge. See, they say you need to practice. So when I tell some students go and practice, they will be doing anyhow. So if you don't practice makes perfect, you need to just do it. That is a way forward in a case study. That is how you can get good mark. That is how you can get that good mark. So requirement of each case study, and ensure they brings to bear the knowledge they have gained in other subjects of professional examination, especially performance management and strategic financial management when preparing for the future examination. Reason why, because of the appendix 2, and reason why, because of the requirement 2. That is why the examiner is mentioning performance management, strategic financial management, and other things, so for you to prepare for your future examination. That is that on that. Now, the summary of that particular most over 6 diets. The summary, I check what has been the common pitfall over 3 years, 5 years, and these are the common pitfall for students. 1, inability to select appropriate financial analysis tools. Some students, they will tell them to go and use trend, they will go and use another thing. Where they're supposed to use ratio, they will go and use another thing. So different things like that has been always been. So, but all this you can find it on the surface of the requirement, what examiner is requesting from you. That is why I said usually benchmark yourself to requirement of the examiner. They have the mark guide, they know what to mark. If they are not seeing what they are expecting, they won't mark right. Then poor financial analysis. for mainly stating the key ratios computed as increasing or decrease. So they don't have the knowledge of expanding their knowledge in analyzing financial statements. So examiner is expecting us that as a chartered accountant, when you pick up if any financial statement of any company, you should be able to interpret it at our level. That is why they are giving us that income statement, financial performance every year, because as a chartered accountant, it will not speak well when you pick up a financial statement of First Bank or Dangote. You can't speak something about it. So they expect of you to be able, when you look at it on the survey, even without calculating any ratio, you should be able to see what has happened to them. Then discussion on business issue not required in the case scenario. Now, most of the times, this one usually come from different centers. Most especially when pricing comes out, most centers usually do this type of mistake. They will advise the student to ensure that they do model when the examiner is not requesting for model. I used to say, if the examiner never requests for it, never do it. If you are doing it, you are playing. So most students will go and do percept, they will go and do the portal diamond when they are not asking. Because they will not say, because there's a lot of report flying about, because that case it resembles as if we can use pestle. No, there are some strategic things that you will see that, from this angle they are asking for model, from this angle they are not asking for it. There are some strategic words you will identify. At times the examiner could be so much generous that they can give you a specific word that, do this model. But in the area that they silent, that they are still expecting it, there's a word you will see business strategic analysis. That means they are requesting for either SWOT or pestle. So that is little area that you can figure out whether you are using model or not, when the examiner is not coming in plain that as if they are requesting, because at times the examiner will hide as if they are not requesting for it. Then inability to carry out evaluation of strategic business proposal in the case scenario using appropriate business evaluation techniques. That is what we have discussed. That's talking about that requirement to MPR, contribution, and so on and so forth. The lack of understanding of how to write a formal business report with appropriate heading and subheading to address issue required in the case scenario. Inability in including poor construction of simple sentence and absence of techniques, jargons. So these are very, 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 very common. These are very, very common. Sorry. Then we have inability. Hello, hope you guys are still with me.
We are with you,
Yeah,
sir.
right on, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
with you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Okay. Now another one, inability to produce a good executive summary. Inability to produce executive summary. See, never miss executive summary, because that is from the angle at which examiner is giving bonus mark to every student. Because just to summarize what you have done in your report. That is why I told all my students that you can be writing executive summary, you can be writing your report and your appendix at the same time, so that if you will not miss, you will manage your time, you will not miss any place, anywhere. So that as you are writing part of the executive summary, you write part of the report itself, you write part of, you go and calculate little. So as you are calculating small, you are coming to interpret it, you are even also summarizing it, so that by the time your report is ready, your executive summary is also ready. Because when I just imagine for someone to miss 20 marks, how will such a student, to pass, it's not that easy again if someone has already missed the 20 marks. And the 20 marks is very easy to get. That's the easiest way to get 20 marks for executive summary. So that is that one. Now I'm still going. I will come back to November. May 2024. I want to show you some things. You know, when we talks like this, talk and talk and talk. Some students will be saying yes, this, but I just want to show you. I will go and open that particular diet question and show you those things that the examiner is marking for you. So you will now see what so as those students that wrote that exam, what the examiner is expecting from them. So now for us to this is, I used to say something when unexpected happen. Actually unexpected can happen to any person in life, but at times some people that unexpected happen to cause it by themselves. But the issue is that even though you will see some students, they will say, I finish ICAN. But at the end of the day, when they come out of this exam, they will begin to say, I don't know, how did I fail? A lot of students will say, I wrote a lot of things. How did examiner give me this? How can I get 5 marks? How can I get 2 marks? How can I do this? Because you didn't give what they are expecting. So whatever you need to put into action before examination, you need to put it so that there is no excuse for failure. I understood that you don't have time. Everybody is busy, go to work, do all those things. That is normal, because that is, I used to say something. The moment you have commit your fund, you have commit that you want to write the exam, so you should try all your possible best to ensure that you prepare for that exam. So you prepare for it, because you can't tell someone that the reason why you just tell them, the reason why I pay, the person will not even, you just look at it that you are not serious. So because people will always celebrate success. So but when unexpected happen to people, a lot of things at times it could be amazed. Some people doesn't expect it. Some people will say, I tried, I done this, I do this. Even some people will even say, I can't write again, because they don't expect it actually. Then, but you just imagine from the angle of success and when failures comes, the first diagram we look at that from the angle of failure. Why this one? When you just pass and you among those 50 people that have passed, you just imagine what people have said about case study, and you are able to scrape through. A lot of congratulatory message will be coming to you. But remember that they have put some things in action. They have able to do some things. So I'm just saying this to encourage us, some of us, that you are, because last night I have some of my friends, they gave them a pre-sim for 2 weeks. This one of my friends did not open it. I now ask him, I said, why do you think they gave you the pre-sim? Is it to be sleeping with it? He said, they didn't even have time. I said, when you know that you don't have time, why do you go and register exam? So it's for you to at least to do a little, even though you don't know what to do. You practice with the figure, you calculate, you try to practice a lot of things. Then you seek the guidance, that if it come like this, how can I do it? If it come like this, how can I do? If it come like this, so that from different angle, at the end of the day, something can come from it. So, but when the success happen, everybody will celebrate, you'll be happy. That is a normal things in life. But when failures things happen, you don't usually like it. Now, let me look at this. These are the major 5 things that usually happen. The major summary of the failure. Go. This is it. Now, let me come from this. The first one is lack of what? Following the case study structure given by the ICAN. I know many of us, we might go through the new pack now, and you will have discovered that the packs given to you, even though I remember, maybe I asked some students that have you even go through the pack? Were you able to structure out were you able to bring out the structure of the report? Some say, it's very scattered, I cannot do this, I cannot do this. But actually, there are structure there. The structure of the report is there, but for you to now bring it up is the issue. Now, structure is very important if you want to pass the ICANS case study. Every building profession have different structure that fit their goal. You will see this mass that has the 100%. Then one has 1%, one has 5%, another has 10%. This is exactly what happened in the case study scenario. You will see some people that pass, meaning that, just imagine when your own structure is up and down, it's getting 1%. That is why you see some students will now say, I get 1%, one mark, I get 2 marks. Because why? Your structure may be what? Up and down. So at the end of the day, examiner will be saying, what did this person is right? Is it what we ask? Do you understand? Then a lot of angle at which examiner will be saying, is it what we are asking? Because at the structure, from that structure of your report, you are already giving the examiner a headache. Me, if I'm hacking your script, if I read from the first sentence, second sentence, and you are giving me headache, and you see, it's not only me, it's common to have no examiner, no marker is ready to struggle themselves to mark any question, any student. I have now been open my face as if I'm using double glass to mark. That's why we need to also do, most of all, we need to, clarity also is very appraised in case study. Make sure your writing is very clear, because they are going to scan your work. Some students fail because examiner did not see what they put down. Examiner cannot figure it out. When you write a good thing and examiner cannot read your report, that student will fail. Wetin I wan mark now when I no see why you're writing? So all these little things is very, 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 very important. So the first we are discussing here is what? The structure. Get the structure right. That is why I usually clamor for it in the class. Get the structure right. When you get the structure right, then you must know what is under each subheading. When I say introduction, what should be there? When I say aim and objective, what should you say expecting? When I say methodology, what do you expecting? When I say finding, what do you expecting? When I say ethical consideration, what do you expecting? When I say risk, what are you to do? When I say conclusion, what are you to do there? When I say recommendation, what are you to do there? So all these little things, limitation, wider content, you know how to put it there and a right word to put. That is that for the that's one of the failure, because they don't do it as they request. They request for a particular source. Then the second one is what? Time management. Now this one is very common. This one happens to those people that know what to write and they eventually fail. They know what to put down, but at the end of the day, they eventually fail because of the lack time management. They lack time management because you have a lot of things to put down. That is why I gave us that system that be doing it from different angles, so that just to manage your time. From the past experience, we discovered that most students uses 2 hours in appendix, even over 2 hours in appendix that will give you 10 marks. You cannot even get that 10 marks. So you now use 2 hours. Just imagine. Remain how many hours? After you have used 1 hour for reading, remain 1 hour. So how many hours do you want to use to write a report that will give you 50%? So meaning that student that know what to write but lack time management will eventually fail. So which means that you must know how to manage your time. One is that you have been sleeping for its prison for over 2 weeks, never go there again. What you have as information, it can never change. If anything want to change, it will change from unseen. So go and use 30 minutes in unseen and read it. Then the remaining 30 minutes, meaning that you have saved 30 minutes. So you now challenge that remaining 30 minutes to your own report. So the maximum hour you should now be used in a worst case scenario for appendix, it should be not more than 1 hour. Not more. Maximum, not more than 1 hour. Because examiner need your report more than. So many of you will discover that when I give you assignment, if I say go and do assignment for me, I can at times I will ignore your appendix. It's not that I ignore your appendix. I will only go and check in your appendix your heading, your result, your final result. That means your final percentage. Then I will now trace it back to what are you going to discuss. So because that is what the examiner will do. They will go and check your final result and come back and check. Do you compare it very well? Do you say exactly what you have already analyzed? You calculated? That's so they are so much interested in your interpretation of those reports, interpretation of those appendices. They are so much interested in it. But time management is one of the issue with students. They don't know how to manage their time. So note it. Do not waste your time. Then this is lack of interpretation skills. Now this one is at times also common. The way you see things determine what to analyze. At times I will ask students, I will say, what do you see based on the scenario that we just analyze? Some students will say, I don't see anything special now. Is it not normal? Why? Because you are seeing it from the angle of individual. Now anytime you are dealing with case study scenario, you treat it from the angle of corporate business and professionalism. So meaning that you are seeing yourself as a chartered accountant, as a professional chartered accountant who has undergo training and who must also take cognizance of standard ethics. So which means that when I'm reading those case scenario given to me, I am reading from the angle as saying, is it the proper way of doing things? Are they doing it right or are they not doing it right? That is from the angle I'm seeing it. So now you will see this left hand goggle and the right hand. So both of them, they are seen differently. This one, the left hand was able to see a very closer, while the right hand was able to see very tiny. That is at which different students see issues. But the more you see, the more you are able to analyze. So that is why I usually say you usually come from the angle of corporate governance, even though the business might not be compliance or corporate governance, but come from that angle, it will help you a lot. So every business has to make profit, but they must do their profit on an ethical ground. Do you understand? So you don't, because you are doing your own business, you are affecting another person. Some people will say it's normal now. No, it's not normal. As a professional person, is to look at it and tell them, raise it as an issue for them, and tell them that this is discuss about it and tell them the right way to treat it. Many of you will see a financial statement saying that maybe they are having a ratio. Let's say you calculate a gearing ratio, for example. At times a company could borrow money to finance this operation, despite that they have profit. I think we treated something like that. So there are different angles that could happen. There are different things that could happen at which company can borrow money to finance the operation, even though they have a profit, which is understandable. But are you able to justify yourself on that? How do you see it? Do you even see it from the angle of professional? Then what is the implication of what they have done? A company that is into a public company, for example, that is making profit, never declare dividend, and you are not seeing it as an issue, is a big issue for them. So you bring it up for them. So that is the way at which students see. So some students will say, I didn't see anything now. What should I do? So it depends on how you are able to see things. That is why they are giving you the prism. That means to have insight of those things of that particular industry. So the insight of it is that you go and look at it. Let's say, for example, they give you a cement industry, for example. So they expect of you to go and research on the cement industry. What are the likely challenge? Even though the examiner will have given some highlight of those challenge, opportunity, and other things, but they still want you to go and research more. But note, you are not bringing external report, external information into report you are writing. Anything you are writing is going to be within that case study given to you, but you are only researching to ensure that you are to embrace your wider knowledge about that particular industry. So that is the third one. Then the lack of analytical skill, that is number 4. This one, is very common. I used to say it in the class most of the time. Rule of 4 questions. That is what this one is common especially when you are analyzing your financial statement. So I have usually tell us, you tell them, the examiner, what happened, what is the causes, what is the impact, what is your likely suggestion. Now you will see different level of picture, diagram, images. The first one is what? Is analyzing. The first one is what? Is analyzing. Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry. So the first one is analyzing. Okay. Now these 2 students, they are trying to analyze things using diagram or picture graphs to analyze things. This one is usually common, assuming that you are doing ACCA now. You go deeper in this, because in ACCA you use graph to analyze case study as well. But ICAN is not going to that level anyway. But we are still talking about analytical skill, because the way you are able to analyze things, then you think, what is this issue all about? What is the causes? You know the problem. You say this is the problem. Then you analyze it. What is the issue that surround this problem and everything like that. Then at the end of the day, you now give solution. You give a solution, suggestion to them. That is where the 4 rules comes from. What happened? What is the causes? What is the impact? What is your likely suggestion to either to the board of directors or to the manager? It depends on those people that say you should direct your reports to, that you are now recommending to them on that. So that is that. Then the 5th one. Now this one is talking about not attempting the 2 requirements. You know that when we are discussing that from the angle of November and May, last 2 diet and last diet, we see this number 5. Now you will see this first image and the second image. The first image, I'm trying to explain what we call attempts, because most students, they will usually ignore it. That is why examiner bring it as an issue commonly for them. So unable to make attempts could result to failure. Now this man, he want to fly with his bicycle into the air, which might not be possible, even though someone has done this before. Do you understand? But this man might not get the skills to do it, but he has taken the attempt already. What is the attempt? Is that he has taken the step to do it. Do you understand? So it's different from someone who has never even taken the bicycle, who has never moved. Now this second diagram, talks about it very clearly. They told the man, go and climb these tiny coil fence. Go and climb it. And in his mind, he said, even though I might not be able to do it, let me make attempts. and the man do what? He make attempt. You never see it on that particular on tiny line, but he make attempt that see if you can do it. That is what attempt is all about. So attempt might not be that you must get to the final route, final answer, but do you even say, can you even say something? That is all what attempt is saying. So most students they say, I don't know it, that's why I leave it. You don't do that. You make attempt. That is what the examiner is saying. Even this attempt even happen to every compulsory question in the SBR, taxation, any exam you are doing. In the moment they are put attempt, that means maybe something is compulsory, it's must for you to attempt it. You might not now go deep, you might not go deeper, but you still attempt it. So meaning that if you are favoring people, maybe for example there's a mass failure, they will consider who try to attempt number one, then they will now favor them. But meaning that they will now attract more mark to that compulsory question. But meaning that if you did not do it, you will not have opportunity to get that extra mark. That is from the angle at which most students also fail. So understand that system and understand how it works in ICANN. This is ICANN. You are not doing ACC. This is ICANN system, and that is the marking scheme. Okay, so that is that on that. Now, before I come here, way forward, before I come here, let me go and show you May 2024. Just hold on, let me open this particular sorry, just give me a minute. I want to get the documents. Let me go and open that particular document. So if you're having any question, you can be jotting it down. I'm going to attend to your question. I want to deal with everything so that I will just go on to the question at the end of the day.
Yes, Mr. Shola.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, so I think we should also give them opportunity to also make suggestions. Some of them that have written it before. What are the likely pitfalls that you faced in the exam that may not be on the list that is here? So you can also tell us, either you put it on the chat or you raise your
Okay.
hand, then we ask you.
Okay. You can. I believe many students are hearing. So you can, if you have any suggestion, you can drop it at the chat box so that you can read it through for other students to also. Maybe you have the exam before, so that other students can also have the experience from it. Thank you, Mr. Leke. Now let me show us this. Okay. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is it.
Okay, so Mr. Shola,
Yes, sir.
so there's a question that is saying, for the new students, how will you help them?
For the new students.
Yes, how will you help them? Because they keep hearing you saying what you've taught them in the class, how you told them to approach it, and all that. So they want to know, how are you going to also assist them since they've not been in your class before?
Okay. Okay. So like that new student, what we are going to do is that we are going to have, actually we are going, one of the advice is that you try to also subscribe to our pricing analysis this thing. So that is one. Then after that, if you are new students, you can chat me so that I can send you the material that we use in class. Do you understand? So that so if you ask any question on that, but you must lay your hands on questions and treat those questions so that you can be on the same page with other students as well. That is it, Mr. Aleke. So I hope the person is also hearing.
Yeah, the person can hear what you're saying. So if you have any, if you know you've not, if it's your first time, and it's always advised that, okay, say the contact is asking for your contact.
He's asking for my contact.
Yeah.
Okay. I will drop it before. Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate with this. I will drop it. I will drop it. So you can easily, but I will try to drop it anyway. But I pray I will not even forget. Sir. I will drop it so that you can contact. So I'm trying to open this thing. I don't know why. Okay, this is it. This is what I want
Okay,
to
so
use.
Mr. Shila,
Yes, sir.
so while you're busy doing that, let me drop my contacts so that
Okay.
any one of them that is interested in the material you mentioned is
Yes,
also
sir.
interested in additional class like the pricing analysis that is coming up, they can easily chat me. I can add them to the group so that in preparation for the
Okay.
pricing analysis.
No one, no one. Okay. Now let's consider this. I hope everyone is seeing my screen. This is May 20 last diet. Now, most of us, you are on the call when I read through the what examiner required. Now, let's try to look at executive summary. Because most of the time, when I come to class, I begin to shout. Some students will be looking at me as if, what happened to this man now? Now, this is executive summary. This is what the man want to mark. He said, the first one, general. State the purpose of the report, state the summary of the requirements, state the assumptions, state the reservation, skepticism. That is in executive summary. And that is part of the structure I have given. I say it should be part of your what? Your aim and objectives. Do you understand? Your aim and objective, your reservation or limitation. That is that. So meaning that if you are missing those structure given to you in the class, you are already missing this mark already. Do you understand? Then this one is requirement 2. Okay, this one is requirement 2. Sorry. This one, okay, this is requirement 1. Let me check requirement 1 first. Now, this requirement 1 for that is saying, conclude that for the executive summary, conclude that the company needs to manage its growing cost of sales. Conclude that the company should explore long-term borrowing. Conclude that the company needs to watch its distribution costs. Conclude that the companies may need to provide the company. So I used to inform my students that to making conclusion is very, very easy. It's like when you go to an hospital, when you go to a hospital and saying, maybe you are strong, you meet your doctor and say, oh, sorry, doctor, I want to see you for a particular email and the other. Doctor will ask you questions. And if the doctor cannot access you with basic question he asked, he will tell you to go ahead and do test. Then the test will now determine the conclusion of what? Of that particular doctor. So based on the conclusion, he will now recommend. He will now say, oh, based on what the result is bringing, the result we are seeing, we can conclude that you are having headache. It's not even you telling us that you are having headache, but based on our own report analysis, we see that you are having headache. They will now prescribe headache drugs for you. So now, as you as an accountant, you are able to analyze your financials, your profitability, all this difference between year 2 and year 3, 2024 and 2023. So, and what has happened now? The man says that, and basically when you go and check, when you go and calculate, you can, when you, if you have not done it well, just go and look at it, you will see that actually that is what happened. So you just come and tell us what happened. That's the conclusion, that this is what happened. That's the conclusion. Distribution cost increased, cost of sales increased. Long time, this is conclude that they should explore the long time borrowing. That means maybe the company is not having more compared to the level, compared to the industry that the company is operating. So maybe it's not efficiently used its long time borrowing. That is why that comes in. Do you understand? Because I think maybe the gearing level is at maybe 70%, and compared to that past industry, so 70% is still lowly geared. So that is why the conclusion is coming on like that. Then, based on that conclusion, they are now in the executive summary, they are recommending that manage the cost of sales. So what you are recommending, what you are concluding on, is what you are recommending. You manage the cost, then what you do, explore the long-term optimized capital structure, exercise effective control over cost distribution, state marking provision, guideline compensation payment. Now, see the second one now. Conclude on the viability of the introduced eco-friendly product in terms of the financial appraisal. Conclude that the productions of the product will increase Diffcon's bottom line. This statement that they just mentioned, it's usually common every time that they are giving you either appraisal, either NPV, either contribution. Any business given to you, is an business advantage to them. So that is why they have concluded on that. Then conclude that the company may need to engage in public relation activities to improve its reputation. Conclude that the companies may require to pay compensation. That means if regarding to that the customer protection report that they have released, so they might list to pay compensation to their customers. So these are the things. And those students that have done this is what they have explained times without number to them, that this is what you should do, this is what they are expecting. Everything is in the surface of that case study. You just need to bring it forward for them and tell them this is it. That is on that requirement. Then the requirement based on the recommendation based on the requirement. The company should go ahead with the product of the two proposed product as they have positive contribution. Then they consider doing the public relation activities, enhance the company reputation, make provision for possible compensation payments, secure long-term contract to guarantee the supply of bamboo needed for the production, influence the government to prioritize the industry for development. So they should that is the A question. This one is concluding for A question. Like that is talking about the standard at which they can influence the government. That is this one. Then now this is for the basic report. Now for that main report. Now we are talking about the information. Which the information will you use? So these are the exhibits you are expecting to use for those. That is the relevant exhibit you are going to use. Then this one, use analytical skills that we just explain that the gross profit drops. So these are all these analytical skills I have explained before. They explain that it has dropped, explain that the operating profit turnover has dropped, explain that the net profit margin has reduced, explain that the distribution cost. So that is all this one that you have explained is what you are concluding on also. That you will see that it's almost the same thing you have done. But if you have missed it from one place, so that student might not get it. They're using professionals, tools and knowledge. calculate what you are calculating. This is at the ratio expecting. This is what they are expecting, but you might not be able to calculate everything. Do you understand? But I used to say that calculate what you can analyze. Calculate what you can analyze. There's no point for you to calculate everything like this when you cannot analyze it. So you can only pick the one you can analyze out of all this. This is what they are. You see, discover that they bring everything together. So in category of their own, they have scheduled it to be what? Profitability, liquidity, operational, and management, performance management. So but you can categorize it, but they have just brought everything together. They identify issues. These are the issues they identify that they need to watch trends of cost of sales. These are their issues. Then identify the company should watch its distribution costs. Identify that the company should watch its rising inventory. Identify that the company should low GS, should therefore take advantage of what. So that is all what we have been. You see, so when I talk in class, we are saying the right thing, but some people will be saying another thing at times. So applying professional skepticism, recognize that the financial statements have not been audited. So see, all these things, I tell you, this is what the examiner want to hear. But it's like when it's like you have already know it in your head. Just go and be writing it down. Go and be writing it down, because it's the same thing. The moment the structure, the report resemble the other thing you have already treated. So it's like you are repeating something that examiner is is just imagine that they are still giving you on draft financial statement. So meaning that most of all these things that you are going to pick here is still going to be relevant in that exam. Recognize the company is incur substantial loss in the Federal Consumer Protection Agency. Make good other threats. It can make other threats affected by the government company product. Recognize that there are 3 low record of shows in the company investment available sales generated. Okay. Conclude that the company needs to manage its growing costs. Conclude that the company should exploit its long term. You see that there is not much different from executive summary and the main report is. So they are only summarize what is in this main report. So that is why it's like executive summary will have been as if it's a bonus mark to every student. So evaluation skills and judgment. Recognize that the company has not effectively made use of opportunity offered by the long-term borrowing. Recognize that the inventories and receivables went up. Recognize that the company is effectively using assets generating revenue. Recognize that the company investment is associated generating good return. Recommendation: management cost of sales so that gross profit will not be continually eroded. Explore long-term opportunity or capital investment. Exercise the effective control, and so on and so forth. Another one like that. So you can just have your time and go and be reading all these things. You can go and check this thing. Have you put? I marked one student assignment yesterday, and that at least that student tried. He tried. So when it's not that I just mark. I mark based on the requirement, what the examiner is expecting. If you are able to give it, I will mark you right on that. Because that is what the examiner also mark. So it's not that I will just mark. I just give you any mark I like. No, I will. Do you even mention what those points you supposed to mention? So if you are able to mention it, I will attribute marks concern along with that particular point you have raised. You see some people, they can get 70, they can get 80, because they bring a relevant point, and they are able to also analyze it. So just at your own leisure time, just try to go through all this, and you will compare with what you have done. Have you even mentioned those things? So that is that. Now let me go back on. So let me conclude on the slides. Let me go back to our slide. So this is where we stop. Now, follow who know road. That's follow who know road. So you know who to follow. So if you go and follow who no know road, now you sabi. So get ready. Now follow the instruction. So you need to make up your mind. Some students are still saying, I want to write, I don't want to write. I don't. You need to make your mind on that so that you have a proper preparation. So make up your mind you want to write it, and make up your mind to the extent that you are not ready, you don't want to lose the money. So you have struggled to, at least you have take the lecture, you have participate a lot of things. So just ensure that you want to get the right, you want to take it once and for all, and you want to pass it. So then make sure you practice. So these are the way. Do you understand? So follow who know rules, get ready to take it, then follow instruction given by either from the examiner or from your tutor. Practice very well. Because the advantage of the practice, you see that it's part of those things that the examiner even mentioned. Because the advantage of when you practice very well, it will make you to flow in writing when you get to the exam. It will make you to flow in writing when you get to the exam. That's why I've been fighting with many people. They don't want to. So now, question time. So any question? So we have those of us that we have interest in our follow who know road. So we are going to have online quizzing analysis. That is going to be it's going to come up on the 15th and 16th November. So actually it's 12,000 naira for regular, but if you are able to pay as early as possible, if you are able to secure your time, your date, so we are still going to give you at 8,000 naira. So you can't even see it at different center at that particular rate. That's very sure. So you can book your time now. You can book your chat with the admin. So and they will add you immediately to the group, so that any other thing that you need to know, they will put you through. But make sure if you want, so not that it will remain tomorrow. If it remain tomorrow like that, you'll be paying that same 12,000 naira. But you can easily secure your time, your particular slot now. So that is that. But these are a lot of benefits you are going to enjoy from our pre-scene analysis. So you are going to have what you must know before going to the exam, details breakdown of the predicted requirement, pre-scene analysis, on-scene prediction, suggested report and likely appendices, science management techniques, mark attack system to use in a worst-case scenario, bonus 2 diet reports to guide you on how to write your own report if you have not practiced before. So this one, I think this one will be that particular student that shot that maybe you are a new student. So I think this offer will be for you. So I will advise that you should make up your mind on time and chat with the admin, and so that you can put you through what supposed to know. So now that is our question. Any question? Any question? No question. Do you have any question? I didn't see anybody with question. Is everything we explain clear?
So if they don't have question, probably we should ask them question to know if they are actually following. So if you get to the exam, hall now, and then you are faced with case study question, what is the first thing that you need to do? A lot of people don't even know the structure of how to write case study. They don't know what comes first, what follows. They don't know the type of reports we have. For those people that have been a regular member of our classes, they already know the type of reports that we have. When it is internal report, when it is external report, they also know what to start with in the exam. So those are the things that, in case you are here on this call, you've never written it before, this is your first time of writing it, this is the right time to ask the right questions that can lead you to knowing what to do in the all. So do you have any question? Can we call it a day? Anybody? Okay, so I feel, Mr. Babajide,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so I feel that they are okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So thank you very much for attending this thing. So, and I know we shall be meeting again at the pricing analysis. So, and I promise that we are going to try our best to ensure that we give you the best regards to that particular pricing analysis. So, see you then.
somebody's hand is
Thank
up.
you.
Okay, so go on. Somebody wants to ask something or say something. Go on.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good
I
evening, sir.
want to try and answer the questions that was asked to see if I have the correct thing or not. You asked that if we get to the exam hall and then we get a case study question, what's the first thing that we are supposed to look out for, right?
Yes.
Okay. For me, that's why I want to put this out there. So in case I'm wrong or if there's some things that I miss out, I'll be able to learn it now and then adjust or correct myself. So the first thing is the cover page for the structure of the reports. First thing is the cover page. The cover page will include the person that you are writing to, the person that is writing, the name of the organization, and then it will include a disclaimer if it is an external report, which means that if in the pre-scene you are told or you are given a name specifically that you are so and so a chartered accountant for so and so company, you know that you work for that particular organization, which means it is an internal report. There will be no need for a disclaimer. But if you are told that maybe from the exhibit that your professional accounting firm was hired to do the job, then you know it is an external report. Then the structure after the cover page, the next thing is the executive summary, which is like a summary of the key points and the key findings from the reports, basically because the executive summary is prepared for the executives of the company, and executives do not really have the time to go deep into the details of the report. They just need a summary of what the report entails. Then after the executive summary, you then go to the introduction. Then after the introduction, the body of the report itself, where the analysis will then be carried out. And then after the analysis, you then have the conclusion and recommendation, and then you then have your appendices. I hope I'm correct, just to be sure with what I have here.
Yeah, you did a very good job. Your tutor is going to throw more light on it so that at least he will be able to tell you if you need to do this, if you need to do that. Then apart from that, also, it's good that you know what to start with, what follows, and all that. I also want to let us know that at times it can be very complicating in the exam how to determine if it's an internal report or an external report. So there are certain questions you need to ask yourself to answer before you can determine if something is actually an internal report or an external report. So just like you mentioned, let's assume you work with Dangote, right? And then you are to write a report. The person you report to, right? Your direct boss is calling you and say, okay, draft a report for my attention about the key performance of Bois Cement. Okay, so we can have what we call probably the company wants to get a competitors analysis. There's where we talk about competitors analysis. There's where we also talk about Dangote being a client. Oh, sorry, Bua Cement being a client. Bua Cement can be our client, and then your direct boss can tell you that, okay, do I have to report for my attention, showing key performance, whatever about Bua, being that Bua is a client. Then there's a way that Bua can be a competitor. It can be a competitor's analysis. So it becomes very difficult in the exam or to really tell which is an internal report and which is an external report. There are certain questions that you need to ask yourself and answer those questions to be able to let you pin the point that, okay, definitely this is an internal report or this is an internal report. So you can be a staff of Dangote writing about Bois Cement, okay, and then you can be writing an internal report at the same time. Though you're writing about another company, but it can be an internal report because it could be a competitor's analysis. You understand that now? Then you can be writing about Bois Cement if Bois is your client. So there is dicey. So that's why I would like us to know what we are doing before we enter the hall. Don't just assume that what you are used to is what it's going to be. So you have to be open to changes. That's why your tutor also mentioned that what happens if what you are predicting doesn't really come out to be what you saw or what you are going to see in the exam hall. So also the report has a lot of structure. Even your what's it called, executive summary. There's what you are going to start with. After you start with that, what follows? What follows? You must know everything in details if you are going to that exam. Then when you're also talking about introduction, okay, what do you start with when you're trying to start your introduction? Because your introduction can be very powerful. Your executive summary, you should make it very powerful that once the examiner just see it, they can't take their eyes off it, your report, they're just glued to it. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. Then your tutor will also say more about it. Thank you. But you did a good job, actually. You did a good job. We are on the track.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Leke. Thank you very much. And Mr. Agba, I also thank you as well. So actually, you did a good job on that. So you have tried, but based on what my guy just asked, that what do you even do when you want to do the first thing? The more you practice, the more you understand what you do. Because challenge case study could be different from each other at times. That is the way it comes, you attempt to it. So at times, the first thing first in the exam hall is what? Go and read your quiz on scene. That is the first thing in the moment they are giving you the paper, go and read your quiz. Then as you are reading that quiz, but because I assume that you should have had those quiz. Sorry, I assume that you should have those information of quiz in your head, so don't go near it again. So you go straight and read your unseen, rather your unseen. So which means that as you are reading it, you go back to the back of your note and be putting some information, those issues that you will be referring back to. So you be putting it down, because don't cultivate the habit of underlining, painting. No, the other side. But when you put it down, you can go back and be what? So, and asking a lot of questions regarding to saying which type of the industry is this. So is it capital intensive business? So it's very, very key as well, because that one will help you to understand at which level you are going to analyze. And there are some aspects of, so there are some, when you are also viewing those things, I don't know this diet, maybe the type of this thing they can bring for you people, maybe they will give you a present that is very detailed, because at times the examiner can give you a limited information, then the people will begin to struggle. So that is one. So but it depends on what the examiner is bringing actually. So after you have attended the reading, so then do the cover page. Then as you are attempting the executive summary report appendix. So I've already told us you leave proper space for all this thing, so that as you can do everything like that. Actually it might look unprofessional when I'm saying do everything at the same time. Actually it's look unprofessional, but we might be talking about how to attract more mark. That is where I will now be advising you that, oh, do, because of time. I understand that you are working with time, so I can now be saying do things like this, do things like that. So that is that anyway. So I hope that my joy is that everyone is going to pass this particular exam. That is my joy, actually. So that is my joy. So that is why we are trying to do our possible best to ensure that every student are carried along and get proper information so that you can get it right once and for all. So that is it. So thank you. If there is no other question, so I know we want to go and read. Our exam like 3 weeks time now, so we need to read. So just make sure as you are reading, make sure you rest also. So rest, eat well, and all these things work with your reading. Very, very important. Make sure you rest, or your brain must cool to assimilate. You don't just read. Some people will just read. They will not be able to assimilate. The moment you know that your brain cannot assimilate, just stop. So go and rest and come back to it. So that is it. So I pray God will help you guys in Jesus' name.
So thank you so much, sir. I think with these we have come to the end of this seminar. If you still have any other question you might not remember now, there's a number on the chat that you can or you can reach out to. If you also need the number of the tutor that took us, okay, you can also request for it and then we'll get it to you. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Don't forget that our pricing analysis is going to be coming up as soon as the pricing analysis is released by ICANN. So I want to wish us well. Do have a lovely night rest. And don't forget to continue to read. Continuation is very important. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir, also for your
Okay,
time.
thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sarah.